The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to another edition of Table Topics. And if you're watching this show on a Tuesday, it's probably a repeat. And because the show airs on a Wednesday. And I think I finally got it. Wow, thank you. It only took 9 years, but who says?
Cesar, babe. Oh, yeah, and I was going to do Amigos.
It's all right, go ahead. Let me see if I can understand.
It's time to do Amigos.
Yeah, say it in Portuguese.
Welcome to our show today, and yes, he's right. If it's Wednesday, it's a new show, and if it's not a Wednesday, it's because you're watching a repeat show. So as you can see, we just wake up and came to the show this morning, so it's Christmas week.
Yeah, we're going on a Dunkin' run.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're gonna do our show today here, but we are here at BCC Studios on BCC Channel 95 on your Screen TV. So today we're gonna try to stay around Christmas.
Yeah, could we? I was just gonna say that. You know, you must have been reading my mind because my daughter watched one of the shows and she doesn't, you know what I mean, because she knows I go off sometimes. So she said, I really like that show when you talked about travel. So that's why we're going to keep on. You got to like reel me in if I start acting stupid and talk all about Christmas. You got the Christmas show that's coming up. So yeah, why don't you get into that?
Yes. So first, I'm going to tell you that unfortunately, our island had like a lot of water last week.
Oh, really?
And yes, so there was a lot of damages to the Ribeira Grande, Capelas. So some of them, they're gonna have a tough Christmas.
Oh, wow.
But meanwhile, Ponta Delgada, it's beautiful, all the Christmas lights and everything. The city decided to put an ice rink that's going to be up until January 6th.
With real ice?
Yes. Real ice.
Wow, that's cool. And palm trees.
Huge, huge. But I mean, good for them. They always found the money to do that. And really, it's one thing that I love there is if you have a business downtown and you are in one of those principal streets that they have lights, you know, you have to change your decoration every 4 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You have to change your decorations because the decorations that you use, they use for somebody else that's just starting.
Cool. To
replace. They work with schools, they work with senior centers, and all those decorations that you see hanging on the streets, hanging on trees, are done during the year as workshops at schools and senior centers. So that's why every year they have more. They keep adding more and more and more.
Cool.
What an excellent idea for us.
It is. It is.
Because what we see, it's just a ribbon of lights on the poles, and that's it. It's done. We're ready for Christmas.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
They put the whole decorations in 2 days in our city.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. It's all about money again. I totally get it. But we're trying. You know what I mean? Like you said, every year if we could get more people involved to do things, I think that would be helpful, you know. But if I could just go back for a minute, what actually happened there? Was there like a bad rainstorm over a couple days?
Yes. Okay. So you know how the water comes down the hills and everything and ends up in people's houses and everything. Was really, really bad. I mean, I have the video to show on my Portuguese show about the storms there. I don't know if Michelle will be able to put it up. I probably can. That's the video that was going to go on Amigos, but you have an idea what it is.
That's fine.
And,
if she can't, I mean, this is last minute, so.
If she can put it up, that will be great.
Yeah. No, I was, because I know.
There we go.
Foi uma noite de terror que se espalhou por vários pontos dos Açores. Até às 16h30, a Proteção Civil registrou 31 ocorrências trazidas pela Depressão Efraim, sendo que 15 delas foram na ilha de São Miguel. O concelho de Ponta Delgada foi o mais afetado, com Arrives e Capelas a serem as freguesias mais fustigadas. Estas imagens de vídeo amador nas capelas mostram bem a força da natureza, sendo que as zonas mais críticas foram a do Cruzeiro, Santana e o Rocio. Alguns carros foram levados pela força da água, várias casas foram inundadas e os recheios foram perdidos. Os trabalhos de limpeza duraram parte da madrugada e todo o dia.
Tivemos, tenho em conta até o momento de ocorrência de 7 casas, das quais entrou a água. Não, até o momento não tive situação de que tivessem a ser realojados, portanto nesta parte está minimamente apaziguado, mas sim, temos também a zona do Balieiro que também foi afetada. Infelizmente não me lembro. Já tenho os meus 33 anos, portanto posso fazer de conta de menos 6 ou 7 e não me lembro de ter acontecido isto já, as sessões de estudo já há 26 anos atrás, nunca aconteceu. Estamos a falar também no Rocio, portanto é aqui o centro das Capelas. O Rocio estava impossível de transitar.
As situações reportadas pela Proteção Civil estão relacionadas sobretudo com quedas de árvores, danos de estruturas, inundações de vias e habitações, derrocadas e transbordo de ribeiras. No Corvo, a rua na zona do Boqueirão foi interditada devido à força das ondas e uma árvore caiu em cima de um carro na zona das Quintas. Para além destas situações, há ainda a registrar mais 4 na Terceira, 4 nas Flores, 3 no Faial, 3 em São Jorge e uma no Pico. Uma pessoa teve de ser realojada em Ponta Delgada, em casa de familiares, devido à inundação da sua habitação.
Wow. There was some waves, huh?
Yeah.
There was some waves.
For surf?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think you could surf in that for sure. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it was just for you to have an idea. Yeah, they cool. A couple of villages, they are having a hard time this Christmas, but I think they will do. I think they will do okay.
Yeah. Good.
You know,
good.
they always have family members that help them and get them in and until they. And I can tell you, one day after the government, it's all over there.
Yeah.
They're all over there.
Yeah.
They
like Florida.
Yes, they're all over there. They start fixing. The next day, they start coming in with heavy machines and trying to help the people get back to normal.
Cool.
So, Christmas there is a little different from here, and even the food and the sweets.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have time. I was gonna go by Portugalia and get us some queijadas de vila. I know you were gonna like, but I didn't have time.
Yeah.
I came run from work. Yeah, but so you were born here.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit of the Christmas, like you growing up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and as you get older, it changes. But yeah, when I grew up, it was my grandfather. My grandfather was the only person in our family that owned a house, even though it was tiny. My mom had 5 brothers and sisters, so we'd all go to my grandfather's house, and his house at the time was probably 800 square feet. So we had all the 5 brothers and sisters, 6 with my mother, and the grandkids. There were like 4 or 5, 6 of us at the time. So as you can imagine, we were all just there. And they made food, and we just talked. I really enjoyed it. When I was a kid, it was always like, you better behave, because Santa's coming. So all the kids, we all just sat in my grandfather's living room like this. And we couldn't even put the TV on. You just had to sit there, or you came out and listened to the adults. But as we got older, you enjoyed that. So there's still a couple songs that I remember from going to my grandfather's house. But we didn't really have any kind of like Portuguese influence, because my grandfather was English. So it was my grandmother that was Portuguese, and she had died when I was real little. So there really wasn't anything. It was more probably of an American kind of thing. And Christmas Eve, we'd grab our presents, and then Christmas Day, we'd do our thing. And then Christmas afternoon, my whole family would come over again to our house. And my mom hosted that, and it was great. You just got to see your family again. And
what will be the traditional meal at the Christmas?
We would have either turkey or ham, and I still have that now. But I have to say, in my house, it's ham, because my daughter doesn't really care for turkey too much. So it's kind of, we've been kind of talked into ham. But we kind of created our own tradition as well, because, you know, my grandfather, obviously my mom are not around anymore. So I host Christmas Eve, and we used to have maybe 40 or 50 people. Now we're down to like maybe 12, because a lot of people have, you know, passed on and stuff. So, but the tradition we have is we usually go to La Salette on Christmas night.
Oh, yeah?
No matter how
cold
bloody
it is.
cold it is. We get hot chocolate, and unless it's raining, and it's just a nice, just nice going there, you know, seeing the religious aspect of it, because a lot of that is lost in America. You know, you probably know more. When me going to the Azores and seeing a church in every village, it's just, it takes me back to when I was younger. That's not the way here it is in the U.S. anymore. We've kind of like got rid of religion, which, you know, for good or bad, I see some of it as bad, but that's my own personal opinion. But,
well,
so let me hear about the Portuguese tradition. I probably rambled on way too long.
No, it's fine. I mean, I was curious to know. We were a small family. We were only 4. My sister came way after, so we were like 4 boys, and we will get our presents Christmas Eve, and then we will visit the family. We will go to uncles, we will go to grandparents, and get our presents, you know, the day after. But the party there was the whole week, because we had a tradition there that goes all the way into the King Days, which is January 8th, I think.
Okay.
Which some people brought the traditions here, and they still do it here. So here it's different because of the rules. You cannot make noise after 11 o'clock, right? Over there, you spend nights, overnights, just going door to door. So we will go for the Menine Mija. We will call the Menine Mija, which was the shots.
Okay.
Because every house there, the liquor was homemade.
Oh.
So they will put the flavors on the liquor, right? And you will have all this different coffee flavor and vanilla flavor and all of that. So, but it was home. My grandmother, when I used to I grew up in my grandparents, because my parents were working out every day, so they would pick me up on the weekends to come. This before I start school, so I was like 3, 4, 5, 6, and every Sunday morning, my grandmother will wake me up. This is not just for Christmas, with a mahaca. A mahaca, it was a liquor that my grandmother would use to make at home. So it was me and my uncle. I used to sleep with my uncle, so it was me and my uncle. We will get the shot in the morning. But in Christmas time, we will go door to door for the shots, right? and they were really weak because they're homemade, so they make as strong as they want.
Oh, okay.
So they make really strong for the big guys, and then they will put less stronger for the rest of the family. But so we used to go house to house, and we will knock at your door maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So now you have to dress and join us. So by the time we done, and in here they're still doing that. Some friends still, I know Victor Norberger does, and Luis Carrera does, and I have so many friends that still do that. And when I used to be on the Lusitania, we used to do that. So a guy with the microphone, with the saxophone will go, and we will get first the guys with the instruments, right? So we will knock on the doors, and they will come with us. So by the time it hits 5 o'clock, sometimes we had like 20 cars following each other, parking there in front of everybody's houses. This is like 4 o'clock in the morning, so everybody's asleep. So now we singing outside until the guy opens the door, you know?
Were they happy when they opened the door?
Oh yeah, because that's
the tradition.
That's a tradition that you kind of happy that they pick you to do that because that's the tradition. So I remember one time, and if Victor Norberger sees this, he's going to laugh, because I will never forget a day that we knocked, the wife opens the door, and we all jump on his bed to wake him up. So, so this was a tradition that came from there, and the Portuguese family still do it in here.
Cool.
The meal there, the tradition meal is the codfish.
Oh, okay.
Is the salt codfish. Okay. Is the vegetables, the curves, boiled potatoes, and then you eat with olive oil.
Okay. Is there a substitute for that, or that's just?
That's the tradition.
Okay.
That's the tradition.
Okay.
We never had ham or even turkeys, you know. But
well, it's an island, so it makes sense.
yes, the island is more either it's meat or fish.
Yeah.
You know, I will never forget. My mother always tells me, you know what they eat on the wedding?
No. What's
she
that?
served?
What?
Turtle.
Turtle?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what she had for meal on her wedding.
Must have been tough, right? Must have been tough to
I don't
meet.
know. I just hope it's not the house, you know. I hope they don't eat the house, because they're always traveling with a house on the back. But yes, so over there it's more, you know, it's a poor island, it's a poor community. Now, yes, now we have all the nice brand names. We have all the nice brand names on the stores and all of that. But when I was 10, no.
But I think that was even here, though, Carlos.
And my grandmother used to get, I remember, things made out of the corn foil.
Yeah.
They used to make the bonacas, the dolls, and everything out of that.
Wow.
I remember on my grandparents growing up, my mattress it's the corn foil.
Wow.
And had the two sides, had two openings.
Yeah.
And every morning they would stick their hands and move everything. So
you get up.
Moved everything. No. After we get up to make the bed, because we slept on it, everything was smushed.
Okay, yeah.
So they will stick the hands inside, and they will move everything. So it comes from here to here again. You know, it's done for the next day. So and that's what I was sleeping in my grandparents' homes.
Yeah, wow. All right, so that's different.
You know,
that is different. But I mean, even here with name brands, when I was younger, most people didn't have name brand stuff when I was a kid either. I mean, at Christmas time, most people, no matter what, they were spoiled. Their kids were spoiled at Christmas that one time a year, and there was always a lot, enough food, more than enough food. But yeah, and that's probably just an American thing. Maybe everybody that's come over here, it's like we want to make sure our kids have, a lot for Christmas. So.
And I will never forget one of my first expensive gifts. I was probably 10 years old, and was a watch.
Oh.
And I was so happy because I was already 3 or 4 years in school, and I had a lot of friends that had watches and everything. And finally I don't know if my parent paid like in 4 or 5 times, I don't know, but probably was one of my first expensive gifts was a nice watch.
Wow, cool.
But things change, and but we were happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Growing up, you were happy.
Yeah,
You probably don't had like expensive things and everything, but I feel the families were more happy. That,
I think so now. And it's funny you say that because I know I used to work with a nurse that met somebody from Greece, and she moved to Greece. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like how I kind of think of it. They're back maybe 20 years. With how, because we're so spoiled here in the United States, we don't even have a clue. But what she said there is that people are happier because they're more family-oriented, more friends-oriented. So it's like, instead of going out to eat like how we do here, you go over to your family's house or a friend's house, and you socialize more where we don't do that here. And I think that kind of takes away from.
I mean, I'm
here.
out of there. I'm out of there for 30-some years. I never spend another Christmas there. But I think they too losing that
whole tradition
because now they do have cars now. Like you 16, 17, they said you have a car now, so you don't want to stay home, spend the night home. You go there, you eat, and then you take off. So I think they are losing that, but they're trying probably to keep as much they can.
I mean, they're probably 20 years behind us on that. I'm talking about like how we've lost so much of the tradition of, just kind of staying with your own family, your immediate family.
They still have, but I think they start losing.
Starting to change,
that start to change too.
Yeah, something to be said about that, in the old days, just kind of, you have your family, it doesn't matter if you had things, and it's like, I think kids, it was always we had it because Christmas to me is more for kids than anybody else, So, I mean, outside of the religious aspect, obviously, but I think it's more for kids time of year, Santa and all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, in here, I remember when my girls were smaller, we will have not one present because I think because I came from an era that was one present. And you were so happy that you opened one present. That my daughters, and I have videos with them small. If they don't have like 20, 30 boxes under the tree, they didn't have nothing. Believe me. And some of them expensive. My girls going to school, I remember they were music, so I bought them expensive instruments because they could use it for school, and I believe I still have them home. But some of them were expensive, and then they want the phones, and then start with 10 years old. They already, I got a watch. They got a phone when they were 10.
No, it's.
But with that came the technology. Kind of, I needed them to have a phone. To be in touch with them. You know what I mean? So it's like the times change. It's not just we don't give them just because they're asking for. We think it becomes a necessity.
Exactly. And I think at least in this country, for me, when I was younger, and then even when my daughter was younger, I had a lot of, not immediate family, but a lot of family. So, they would spoil my daughter too. So she wouldn't just get one present, she'd get 2 or 3 from that person. So, which helped when you're younger, it helped that you didn't have to.
The good thing is that when they're young, they be happy with anything. And you kind of between that $10 gift, you put a $1 gift there too, you know, and they're happy because they don't realize the price is different, you know. True. So, but it's a big difference. You know, my girls are big now. They still spoil. You know, they still spoil. Well, they know when they come with a complaint, Daddy, they know that's it. You know, we have to do it. My daughter came to me, I think it was last month, said, Daddy, I don't know what's wrong with my TV. It turns on and off by himself. It turns off and off. So one day I'm with my wife, I think 3 weeks ago, whatever. I'm walking on, and my wife looks at me and says, Carlos, that's a nice TV for Chantal. And when she says that, that's it. That's it. You cannot say anything else. Okay. How much is the TV? $689. Okay.
Well, that's when I can say no.
Okay. Okay. So guess what? I don't know if it fits on your car. Oh, it's okay. We go home and we change the cars. And that's it. I end up buying a TV for her. You know what? I use the TV because it's a big TV that she had, and I bought a 75, I think. She had like a 65. I bought a bigger, but it's my computer screen. Yeah. Because I always on glasses when I want to read stuff. Now I have a big screen connected to my.
So
TV.
It sounds like you're afraid. This is what my daughter says to me. It sounds like you're afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my daughter says, I'm the one that's going to pick out your nursing home. I'm like, gee, thanks. So I guess we got to be good.
You know what I say? I cannot live with her, but I cannot live without her too. So.
Yeah,
so
no, it's true. It's true.
I think Allison knows Natalia.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, I usually you're right. I always said this, even years ago, I worked in real estate, and I always said this, if the wife does not like the house, just call it a day. You know what I mean? Car is okay, but if the wife does not like the house, you're not going to sell it.
Hey, guess
and
what?
That always happened. It always happened.
You know, the last one before we go, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. Exactly.
So this is our Christmas show. Thank you again for one more year being here with us. I think we're starting our 9th year.
Cool.
Next year. So I hope you guys have a nice holidays, Merry Christmas, and a very safe New Year's.
Feliz Navidad.